All right, we're back with episode 2 of the dumb stuff we like podcast.
We're back, baby. I think I did it last time, but
So,
I
yeah,
liked it. I
we're
want to do it again.
with Brian.
And Chris, I don't think I introduced myself last time. I was made aware of that, but that's who I am. So we got that out the way.
And I'm still Brian. You know, I was Brian last time, and I've chosen.
And I'm
We flipped the
Mark.
coin, and I decided to be Brian again this time. I won the toss. And this week, just still breaking off the rust. You know, a little bit, getting back and breaking off the rust of never having recorded podcasts before. You know, it's rust comes with doing
That's
something you've never
rust.
done
When
before. You know,
when
that's
you start something, you're
the
just
first
you
time. There's rust.
start with rust.
You're right.
That's
That's how
science.
that works, right?
Everybody knows that.
Yep. Everyone does.
Before you learn to ride a bike, you gotta get the rust off.
Get the rust off,
with
right?
your
Same-
bike.
You gotta
Shake the rust out.
The rust of running out before you actually start walking.
Shake
you
it
know?
out and then ride that bike, baby. All right, that's enough of that. We have some general housekeeping just to make sure we get this stuff out of the way. Actually, the first thing I do want to mention is the thank you to our limited amount of listeners. You guys are the real MVPs. We're
Appreciate
hoping
that.
to grow our audience more and more week to week. Right now, we're kind of working off word of mouth. So if you feel like this is something that you might want to share, please go ahead and do that. We would much appreciate that. We do appreciate feedback again, and we've gotten some feedback. We actually got some positive and negative, which is awesome. Again, it was constructive, so it wasn't necessarily like just like you guys are trash. I mean, we know this, but
So I'm the trash, just not acceptable trash.
yeah, we just thank you guys for not pointing out how trash we are. But the first big thing is the echo and the reverb. We know that there's going to be some kind of audio issues, and I think we kind of prefaced last week's episode with it.
Yeah.
You please be patient with us. We just want to let people know we're addressing it. So if you hear it again this week, it's a work in progress. We're getting more equipment in. We're not necessarily in a studio, so a lot of this, and again, this is new to us, like
Right.
rusty. I mean, we mentioned that
Mad rust.
super rusty. So, yeah, just maintain your patience. That stuff is being addressed, and hopefully this week and within the following weeks, you'll notice the quality and the clarity start to pick up a little bit. So we do thank you guys for listening, though. Appreciate that
Yeah,
feedback.
definitely appreciate that. And like we're have high quality mics. Like to try to make sure our voices are clear and stuff, and they just pick up everything. We'll work on the just general audio mixing and just like you said, bringing down the reverb where we can.
Yep. Another thing I wanted to mention is thumbnails. I've been thinking about it. It's not something we've really sat down and discussed, but since these things do go up on YouTube, I kind of want to put like a really like a popping thumbnail, something that kind of like grabs your attention. It is kind of clickbaity almost, to
Right.
be honest. Not that like not too many people are watching it, but then we can start throwing some tags on it, and that way, at least one of the algorithms may start picking it up and categorizing it for us.
That's right. Now, I've actually been talking to someone like a graphic designer on getting some stuff made for us, specifically like a general backplate for the podcast while we're doing it. Maybe even something used for thumbnails. And basically, we'll just have to. We haven't done. Chris and myself haven't done much talking on that, so need to pull our ideas together, and then once we have that worked out, then I can shop that over to the graphic designer, and we can actually have something professional made.
Yeah, we actually don't talk outside of the podcast. Podcast is the only time we talk. I don't know anything about them actually.
Right. I've never met this guy
No,
before in my life.
but so that's thumbnails. That's the audio. So we're thankful for being for our listeners. What else we got here? We got Rick and Morty. So for Rick and Morty, I had mentioned last week we talked about Rick and Morty, and this is probably gonna happen a lot to be honest. So I'm not gonna do this every week, but
Right.
I had thought I had heard about an interview that happened during season 3, right before season 3 came out, where Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon were that season is contentious just because it took so long to get out.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, and I misremember, and this is my fault, them coming out and saying like we might not do anymore because of the stress or what have you, when really a lot of it was due to the fact that there was just a high level of anxiety because season 1 and 2 were so amazing. They were worried season 3 wasn't perfect enough, so it just kept going back in the shop. So I just kind of wanted to clear the air and say that like whatever I had mentioned in the first episode, which was something along the lines of they wouldn't do any more if they don't care. That wasn't true. That was me kind of talking out of my butt, which is probably gonna happen a lot, to be honest. But
Right.
I just wanted to get that out there, and then you can take the last little bit of housekeeping.
Then last little bit is like I was mentioning Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Um, it's a Dark Souls s game. I'm not sure what we said last time to.
I think I had mentioned I was like, I don't think it's Dark Souls, but I was being
okay,
I was
okay,
just
yeah,
being
I
like
think I
contentious.
understand, yeah. It's remember it takes a lot from a lot of different games and tries to remix it in its own way. Like Dark Souls, like had the combat, dodging and stuff like that. Some
Even the
Metroid and stuff like
meditation
that.
is
And I
very
think
much
it was
like a
basically
bonfire.
we had mentioned that it wasn't Dark Souls esque on the podcast, but it is relatively. I mean, if you ask anyone or just looking at the gameplay now that the game's out, it's been out for a while.
It has.
You see it's a little more Dark Soulsy than we had initially understood.
And I would say that's mostly me too, because I kind of was pushing on the fact that Dark Souls is Dark Souls because it's hard, when everybody knows it's not true.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to clear the air on that. But that's pretty much it for general housekeeping. And then we'll just kind of slide right into the news. Let's get into the news. Let's get into some fun stuff.
Actually, I have like one
one
last
more thing. I'm sorry
housekeeping
about
thing going forward. I don't know if we'll mention this beyond this episode, but going forward, like most of what we talk about, generally, if it's outside of the news section specifically, is generally just our opinions. Like,
And they're gonna be quick,
and people's
fast,
opinions can be wrong.
wild, and wrong.
So, you can hold me to my opinion. I have no problem discussing it, unless no real unless. But there's sometimes when I'm obviously joking, then you can take it as a joke, and if you can't take a joke,
Then stop doing anything you do in your life.
right. I mean,
And
some things are
get some
funny.
humor.
I try not to offend someone, but not be insensitive about stuff. I mean that's general. If something like that, but I'll plan on making jokes. This podcast is meant to be funny for us to enjoy ourselves while we're riffing. So I'll try not to be wrong, like hard wrong.
I'm gonna be
but
wrong.
I'm gonna make some jokes
I'm gonna be wrong
at the
most
expense
of,
of everyone. I
Yeah.
guess. I mean anything I choose to talk about, and there's just some stuff I don't talk about. So you probably won't hear a joke from me about it. There you go.
There we go. All right, so now with the less than fun stuff out the way, let's get right into the news. And for the news, that might have been really high when that news
Yeah,
hit
I
right
think
there.
you
That
might
S
have
was
killed
really
somebody.
sharp. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry about your ears.
For news, we have my big first thing was a Sonic redesign.
Yes.
The trailer dropped, and you know what? I like the redesign.
I was a fan as well.
It's so much of what I expected it to be when it first dropped.
When you look at them when you look at the old and the new side by side, you're like, what were you thinking when you made the other one?
How did this cat's character show up in a Sonic movie?
It's real odd when you look at them side by side. It's real. You're really wondering how did you get to this?
I was gonna say, you know what it looks like? It looks kind of like those like live action Dr. Seuss movies they were doing for a minute. You know, well, I guess they only did really two, right? Because they did the Grinch, and Grinch is like at this point is almost a classic, like a Christmas classic for a lot of people. But then you have like the Cat in the Hat, and like Mike Myers being the cat, and that's what Sonic looks like. That it's like in that weird area of like this thing shouldn't exist the way it looks, right? Like he's got human teeth and there's way too many, and
he looked genuinely alien in that, and I think that's what I mean. They show you in like the second trailer that he's like from a different planet and other stuff like that. Like you get all that in the second trailer, but it's like the first time you're like, this creature wrong. There's something wrong with this.
Yeah, no, it is very off-putting. But you know what? We did it, guys. The internet, we collectively, we complained so hard and whined so much that a major movie studio.
See, this is what cyberbullying gets you.
Cyberbullying. We cyberbullied a whole movie studio into changing the design of
character, delaying a movie.
I wanted to say that I read somewhere, and you know what? I think it was like they said it cost less than $5 million, but what that means is that it could cost up to almost $5 million if they mention that as a number, right?
Yeah.
Because less than 5 million could be $1.
I heard. Oh, I
But-
saw. I read on other places. Somebody was like, "It's like 25." Like I saw it 25. They were talking about the budget of the
So-
movie, and it was like, well, when I say they say like the redesign cost that much, but realistically, it was probably the redesign and then probably reissue of like promotional material, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's
when you
true.
think about that, because
The
probably the redesign
marketing.
cost that much because
Whoa.
marketing eats budgets. Like
Yeah,
marketing is pretty.
because then you
got to
redo all the posters you put
Yeah.
out.
all that
So,
stuff. So
you
yeah,
know-
it's probably somewhere in the middle of that, between 5 and 25 million.
So don't let anybody ever tell you that complaining doesn't change things.
Right, the squeaky
So
wheel, baby.
You tell your mom. You
Squeaky
tell your
wheel
mom
gets the grease.
complaining changes things, mom. All right, I can go on the internet and tweet at major movie studios, and they'll change their whole design. They'll
change
throw
stuff.
millions of dollars at something just to make me happy for a movie I'm not gonna go see.
I'm probably not gonna go see
This
it
movie's
either.
still gonna bomb, man.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it.
And the guy who created Sonic was like he didn't like the design either.
Yeah,
Even the new design. So there you go. That's
So-
what that gets you.
yeah. But you
Nothing.
know what? Sonic's my boy, so I'm gonna go see the movie. I don't know. Will you be tagging along?
I mean, if we
It's gonna be a part of the
we'll-
podcast.
we'll
We're
do
just
part of the
kidding.
podcast.
We're gonna
We'll go
talk
see it for the
about it.
podcast. We got it.
It's gonna be part of the
We gotta.
podcast. We're gonna do a whole Sonic episode. It's gonna be
Sonic.
wonderful.
Oh man.
I love Sonic.
And then next, going to Disney Plus's black market ads.
So
Like-
I have black market ads, but what I mean
what
is,
this man wrote.
I-
So this is some real stuff right now.
you know, I like to work on this outside of, you know, when I'm at home and relaxing, and maybe I've had a few. But
Oh man.
the Disney Plus black market ads is supposed to be the fact that a lot of accounts got hacked, and a lot of these black market whatever sites are trading these accounts out for $100,000 because they have people.
$100,000
I don't know. They're hundreds.
for
Hundreds of
money.
thousands of
they're
dollars.
exchanging money for codes. $100,000. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
basically,
they-
they're buying these codes because people's credit card information and
or
just general
see that,
information
yeah,
is attached
gotcha.
to it.
I mean, though I've heard of people like using or different service. This is same related to the story. Like using like Origin Access, and like you get access for like a little while, and you just download every game they have on the service while you have access to it, and you have like a straight copy, and you just download cracks for all of it. So it's just like just download your catalog and crack it.
Maybe that's what's happening.
I don't know.
But yeah,
Poor people do that, you know.
I mean, it's been out for 2 weeks now, and I mean,
A week-
hacking
little
was
over a
going to
week,
happen.
actually.
It's just it happened a lot faster, I think, than people anticipated. Because usually a lot of these bigger services take a little bit, like a year or two in, then you hear like the big stories, like PlayStation's hacked or whoever's hacked, right?
And I think that's really surprising to me because I'm not sure when ESPN Plus came into existence, but there's also like the part where you can the account is shared between Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So Hulu existed for a while. So I'm like, why? What security measures did they not take to protect people's stuff when Hulu's been around for a gajillion years?
That's true. But then again, it could have just been Disney's a bigger target
Yeah.
as far as the brand goes. So
Yeah, a bunch of new accounts popping into existence and stuff like that, and it just all it takes is one little hole, bam, gone.
Right.
Tons of accounts.
So yeah, check your, make sure you guys are watching. We made a big like, go get Disney Plus. Make sure you keep an eye on that account, all right?
Right.
Keep an eye on your charges. Keep an eye on that account. See if you got any new profiles popping up all of a sudden. That's not one of your family members. Maybe it is one of your family members. I can't talk right now. Maybe one of your family members hacked
Swagger
your
jack your
account
stuff, man.
and they're riding off of you. Don't let
Right.
them do that to you. Be
Right.
your own person.
Tell them they got to cut a piece. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
only $6.99 a month if they want to have it. So it costs them $2.
Throw you some
Tell them you
Venmo.
need about $3.50. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on,
If they
man.
just trying to put you $3.50.
Yeah,
They
I
got
don't
it.
know if you're actually allowed to make money off the service that you pay for,
Well,
but I mean, I guess
hey.
someone could pay you, Venmo you for anything, right?
I mean, people. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't necessarily need to be for Disney Plus, and if it was, and even if it said for Disney Plus, how
I'll let
how
you,
they
I'll
gonna
let
catch
you
you?
rent Mighty Ducks.
How they gonna catch you? if it's
I
a
mean-
deal between you and another individual, and neither y'all tell nobody, you got it. It's in the bag.
That's true.
Easy.
That's right.
People
Word.
go half on babies all the time. Go half on Disney Plus.
All right, and the next thing is, so we got some casting rumors. So I'm gonna go just down through some like news for movies. So we had casting rumors for Loki, the TV show that's gonna be dropping on
Oh, yeah.
Disney Plus. Right now, there's a female version of Loki that is rumored to have been cast. I did not write her name because I did not care enough to write it down.
Damn,
because
that's
it's a
tough as fuck.
rumor, and some rumors I care about more than others. So,
Right.
but from what I saw, it was for me. It was relatively unknown. It wasn't someone who's a really big name actress,
Okay. Which is good.
right? And you probably kind of want to keep it. I mean, Disney's really good about it, especially in Marvel movies, like
Yeah.
grabbing people who are. I mean, not necessarily they grab a lot of like unknown people, but they grab people who aren't necessarily these huge stars.
Not hyper famous, not for primary roles. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
But it's kind of cool because everybody, if you don't know, Loki is supposed to be on this kind of time bending trip because he's got the Tesseract, right? From Endgame. So he's
I'm
kind
not
of,
sure if he's supposed to run through time though.
well, he's kind of hopping around here
Just,
and
yeah,
there.
he's
And
just
I am
popping
sorry
in
for
and out
that.
of places.
He's-
Yeah,
yeah,
he might
it's-
be through running through time. I'm not sure.
Well,
Or
I
no
think-
one's sure.
I think it also has a tie-in to the Doctor Strange. They said his series is supposed to tie into the Doctor Strange and the
Oh.
multiverse movie. What is
Might
it
be hopping
called?
through universes. That'd be
What is it
interesting.
called? His Doctor Strange and
Oh, that is a real
something
long title.
multiverse, right? But basically, it kind of hops into that because now you have a female version of Loki that's been cast,
Yeah.
so that leaves it open, like because Tom Hiddleston is still attached to the role.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited about that. That's one thing I'm big fan of Marvel, and that was one reason I bought Disney Plus. So I'm really excited for any kind of news I get out of that.
Oh, definitely. And there's also rumored that Robert Downey Jr. will be voicing Iron Man in an animated series.
Heck
on
yeah,
Disney Plus.
brother!
I watched I guess I'm not even sure if it was the original Iron Man cartoon. There was another Iron Man cartoon that happened in the 90s. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the original, but there was like a cartoon that happened in the 90s that when I watched that show, I could see Robert Downey Jr. with longer hair, of course, because that Iron Man does have longer hair, and specifically, what was I about to call that man? Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
I don't know the original roadie from Iron Man 1, Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, I
You said
got
Anthony
that.
Hopkins?
I
Anthony
said,
Hopkins, the guy who plays.
why did I call him Anthony Hopkins? And I was
Anthony
even
Hopkins,
thinking
like
Anthony Hopkins. I was
Clarice,
thinking
like-
Anthony Anderson when I said Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Anderson?
Yes.
The guy from Barbershop?
Not even
who
Anthony
stole the
Anderson.
ATM?
What is that guy's name?
You said
Black-
Anthony Hopkins the first time. That's the
Okay,
dude
Anthony-
who.
okay.
That's the dude who plays Hannibal,
Hannibal
Lecter.
Lecter. Yes. Anthony Anderson is like the fat white dude.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
Anthony
the black
Anderson
dude.
is a black dude from Barbershop.
So what is the fat white dude name? It's something like that too.
Anthony Bourdain is a.
No. He's a guy. I'm pretty sure he's passed away now. He had like buck teeth, kind of redhead. Would have been like a redhead guy.
Anthony.
Maybe Anthony. I don't know. That was a hard
Anthony-
tangent. But I was thinking about Terrence Howard. Like the roadie in that cartoon was Terrence Howard, and I see why they cast Terrence Howard as him in the first movie.
Okay.
Like that was the point I was trying to make before I
I don't
hit
know
myself
what
with the
He's
bus
in the
of
multiverse. He's
my
stuck
train
in
of
the
thought got
multiverse.
derailed.
Freaking me out right now.
But yeah, so I'm interested. I'd be definitely interested to see animated series with Iron Man.
Yeah, man, he's voicing Iron Man. Give me more Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Even if it's animated. And from what I understand, the animated people have gotten sneak peeks, and they said it looks phenomenal. So I'm on board for that. I know it's weird because it's
I was
like,
saying,
how did they get sneak
this
peeks?
is a rumor thing.
It's-
Jesus, that's
I'm
crazy. I
on
mean, I
my
guess you
rumor-
can have
I'm
your
on my rumor
animations
game
done.
right now, man. My rumor game is pretty strong. All right? I
Okay.
keep an ear to the mills,
Rumor mill.
the rumors of
The
mills.
mill of rumors. I got you.
I
you,
got
no
a
problem.
guy. His name is Anthony Anderson. It's not like the black guy though. It's a different guy. It's a white guy,
Shut your
but
ass.
big boy. All right. Another thing in casting news. We got Mark Wahlberg, who was casted as Sully for the Uncharted movie. Now, this is funny because he was originally cast as Nathan Drake a few years ago when
were
the
expecting him
movie
to be
was
cast as
first
Nathan Drake, yeah.
coming up, right? But this is why it's funny. Okay, I guess background, right? Uncharted takes place. There's this character Nathan Drake. He's like Lara Croft, he's a male
Lara
version of
Croft.
Lara Croft. That's how I see him.
Lara Croft as Indiana Jones.
He's an Indiana Jones type character, but I like to think of him more
Lara-
as
the male Lara
a
Croft.
male Lara Croft because that gives more power to Lara Croft. And I love Tomb Raider, but he is just like globe-trotting, Nicolas Cage stealing the Declaration of Independence type dude who goes on these large treasure hunts, and he's got this older mentor who has like mentored him throughout his life doing this treasure hunting gig, and that guy's name is Sully. Now, Mark Wahlberg was originally slated to play Nathan Drake, the younger main character, but he aged out of the role while this movie has been like kicked around Hollywood,
Right.
and now he's playing the mentor character, and he is starring alongside Tom Holland, who is going to be Nathan Drake, which is awesome. I love Tom Holland in almost
Right,
anything
Tom
he's
Holland.
in. To me, he's always gonna be Spider-Man Peter Parker, but it'll be interesting. I don't know if I see him as a Nathan Drake, just because playing those games, Nathan Drake to me is more of who would you cast as Nathan Drake? I like Ryan Reynolds, but I like Ryan Reynolds in anything, man.
Yeah, I haven't played the games.
Oh, you haven't played the game?
Just have not. But I mean, looking at the character in general, like I can see you saying Ryan Reynolds, but there's a level of Ryan Reynolds like
He's a little maybe too smarmy,
he's
right?
Yeah, he's too comedic and like
too
smarmy.
witty.
Yeah, like it's you start to get away from characters where he's just Deadpool and whatever he is. I mean, Deadpool's almost just him at this point. Like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. I mean, he's not in a lot of things. Like he can hit other points, but it's like, yeah, but you're just this guy.
Who would you cast as Nathan Drake?
I don't know.
Just start going down a list of people you think. It's got to be a younger dude, but not too young.
I mean,
Captain America, like Chris Evans.
No.
You think he's too yoked?
Maybe
he can get smaller. He would be a buff ass Nathan Drake.
Maybe Bucky.
Bucky.
I mean, we're just pulling people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe because that's what we got to go on right now. Sebastian Stan, maybe. Trying to think of other movies I've even seen.
Generic white guy,
right? Darker
hair.
No, I was thinking that, but it's just because I like the stuff that guy does. So it's like, no, that's just random.
I like Arnie Hammer. I don't know if you know who that is.
Okay, yeah.
I like him.
Okay.
I think he's.
I need to see a movie with
Superman fights Batman.
No,
that's a good movie.
no, that's a great idea, but no, not a good movie. With seeing Kingsman, the guy who plays Eggsy and Tom Holland in the same movie. I need to see them cross.
Maybe paths. I don't really know.
I mean, I just want to. I mean, they're both, I don't know what happened in the movie, but
they're both pretty. They're both pretty good actors, actually. I like them, but they can both do like serious roles.
Yeah.
And
I like to see them just interact.
Action.
I don't even know what.
Actually,
remake the movie with Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg, God, what's that? Leonardo DiCaprio, huh?
The Departed.
Yeah, do that with Tom Holland, him, and pick another guy.
No,
another guy who just looks the same.
Boston accents. A lot of those dudes in that movie are from that area.
Hey, I mean,
I'm
still watching that movie, dude. I remember when I was younger, like even seeing a trailer for that movie, I'm like, how am I supposed to tell any of these people apart?
It is a lot of generic white dudes, and there's a lot of plot twists based off of who you know. It's like, I thought that was the dude who was betraying. Right. Wait, he's a different guy.
Right.
That guy just shot himself.
Well,
now I'm doing
so
a weird
confused.
kind of Joey Two Shoes thing.
I mean, and I'm not saying all white people look like I associate people with other people. Like my mom when she was younger, I associate my mom not Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Wow. You had an interesting childhood. Yeah, we should talk about that someday.
My uncle with Michael Jordan and Tupac. I don't know. It's just association I have with people in my head.
That's
I don't know. I'm weird. It's weird. It's always been like that.
That's very interesting. But yeah, that's some more casting news. We Uncharted is gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty dope. I'm big on Uncharted. Oh, and there was one other thing. So Uncharted is being directed by Bumblebee, made famous from the Transformers movies. You've probably heard of him. He's a Camaro, but he's also a renowned Hollywood director. He's gonna be the director of this Bumblebee movie that came out last year. Is going to be helming the Uncharted movie. And you know what? Bumblebee, pretty paint by the numbers to be honest, but I like it. So
it was definitely.
Like, the action was good. I think he'll direct a good, like, action-adventure movie. Really, it just has to be better than National Treasure. That's what that game is. And the Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah.
That was kind of, like, so-so.
Or
forgettable.
Okay, but does it need to be better than Angelina Jolie's Lara Croft?
Yeah. Yes. That movie sucks. That movie...
But they made here it is. More than one of them.
The movie, for the time...
They made more than one of them.
Was cool.
I mean, I say they made more than one of them. I guess more than one of them came to theaters. I'm not sure if Mortal Kombat 2 went to theaters. Mortal Kombat Annihilation went to theaters. Because if it did, then that's probably the worst movies to get a sequel. One of the worst movies to get like an actual theater sequel.
Mortal Kombat has a cult following, man. People love that movie.
I mean, I love it too, man.
Tomb Raider,
unlock your animality. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's good stuff.
Luke Cage turns into the dragon.
He turned into the dragon in
Really
the worst
terrible
CGI
Yeah, it's really bad.
ever.
If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend going and watch
That's
those
our
movies.
recommendation.
Those are
for
just
the week.
good.
Mortal
Those are
Kombat,
good
Mortal
fun,
Kombat
like
Annihilation.
popcorn movies to have friends over to go watch. It's a good those two movies. But Tomb Raider is a product of its time. Like it's very 2000s. If you go back and watch it, the action, everything going on,
early.
so you can get behind it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's got like that soundtrack. It's got like Eurotrash music behind it, and like those like Evanescence type tracks that are hitting. So it's like fun, but it's definitely it wouldn't work now. And the last Tomb Raider movie was very close to the Tomb Raider game that they released. The reboot.
That was supposed to be awful, just different.
Yeah, different. And I do like the actress that plays her, but I didn't like the story. I think it wasn't like it's not memorable.
Right.
They should have pulled more from that game because in the movie it was less interesting. Like when the plot starts to unfold, it's much less interesting than the movie. The movie had a little supernatural element to it. But in any case, we're not talking about Tomb Raider. We're talking about Bumblebee making a directorial debut on Uncharted.
We're riffing on things. I mean, we only say so much about a movie that doesn't exist.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, I have no pictures.
I want to do a Tomb Raider episode, so I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
Spoil myself.
That'd be down.
I love Tomb Raider.
I have no dog in that race.
What else do we got here for news? Why don't you talk to them about some Moon Knight? I've been hearing some Moon Knight rumblings.
Oh yeah, so Moon Knight could be tied to the Blade movie that's dropping. And Blade movie's dropping like a while from now though. Blade movie's not supposed to be till like, was it 23 that they said?
I thought it was 2022.
22 or 23. They mentioned it at I'm pretty sure Disney 23. Or D23 rather, as they call it. Basically like talking about the show. I'm hype for it, assuredly.
Mahershala Ali. That's the dude, man.
Yeah.
Cottonmouth.
That's Blade. I'm all in on that.
100%.
We're
due for a Blade movie.
How do you? I mean, I get it. The guy didn't have superpowers, so he really wouldn't have been a real like antagonist for Luke Cage later in the season. But he was the best any of those shows had to offer at that point. He was better than Wilson Fisk. Realistically, he was great. It was just like he didn't have any. He really couldn't stand Luke Cage in a fight. So it's pointless.
Vincent D'Onofrio was pretty great as Wilson Fisk. But yeah, no, you're right. I feel like they wrode themselves in a corner a little bit. But I love Cottonmouth. His character was awesome, very menacing. But I can't wait to see him as Blade. That's super. I wish it was coming sooner. But.
Right, and hopefully Disney's able to not necessarily stick to their guns, but swap out their guns for new guns and keep these movies rated R. Heard Deadpool was rated R.
Yeah, that was one thing.
Deadpool. This was a Deadpool 3. I mean, they effectively mentioned it, even I think in. Near the end of Deadpool 2, basically, you throw a bunch of characters and see who sticks, and then basically try to get an X-Force movie out of it, even though this movie was kind of a little bit X-Force-esque.
A little bit.
Toward the end. But yeah, definitely hyped to see Moon Knight, because I've heard it mentioned by the Russo, said Russos are interested in helming the Moon Knight series, and I think there are even, there was an interview I watched, and I want to say it was either with them or some other writers, and they were because Russo's are directors. This is writers of Endgame and Infinity War. They wrote all the Captain America movies.
I thought Russo brothers did that too. I thought they wrote.
They directed it, but the writers are different.
I thought they wrote it. No.
There's different guys, because there's people who wrote movies and people who directed movies. There was different guys. Cause these two guys weren't brothers. Because I watched them on Fat Man on Batman podcast with Kevin Smith, and they're answering questions about Infinity War, but it wasn't the Russo brothers, because they weren't the directors of the movie. They just write stuff.
Okay.
And then basically they mentioned like how weird Moon Knight is as a character.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Or like, I'm talking about how Moon Knight's cool now, but the beginning was weird, and it gets to be really cool now because of how weird it was in the beginning. So that's something I want to see necessarily play out in like a season or of like a show, like basically over 12 episodes. It'd be like weird for like the first 3-4, and then like, oh man, this is crazy cool.
I think it'd be sick, man. Think like, if you don't know who Moon Knight is, just think of Batman, but like crazy. Actually, Batman is kind of crazy, but like crazier like on the outside too, because this dude wears all white, so you can
Crazy,
see
but
him
he knows he's
coming.
crazy. Crazy, but he knows he's crazy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
and he like worships like a moon god. Like that's where he gets his powers, is like this moon god.
And he's Jewish.
And
He's a Jewish guy.
He's
It's
Jewish
real,
guy,
it's real
but he's
odd.
got multiple personality disorder, right? So, like, schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And it's
real
it's
interesting.
real
character.
interesting, and I think it's gonna be a great watch, and I hope so. If it's another Iron Fist, though, you can.
Oh, you keep that.
You
I
be
that's
so upset.
honestly, that would be another thing I would. I mean, things are so close together when you're releasing shows and doing that type of stuff. I would really
You want an Iron
approve
Fist,
of
huh?
a
Heroes
like
for
you
Hire.
can redo the Heroes for Hire. I mean, even I like
We're gonna get Shang-Chi.
I mean, yeah. We'll eventually get back to that. They'll eventually do another Iron Fist, and now that it's back in the proper hands, hopefully they do it right. He's zen as he's supposed to be, and you get to see the character play out the way he's supposed to, realistically.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Moon Knight. That's gonna be cool. We also had. I heard some news about Black Widow trailer dropping December 3rd. That's very specific. So
I think the movie's supposed to be out next year.
The movie, the movie's supposed to be out next year.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that sounds
December
that sounds
3rd. So watch out for December 3rd. That is too specific for it to be a rumor.
right.
That is more than likely happening. So just
I
keep,
still have
keep
no
your
idea what
eyes
this movie's supposed
peeled.
to be about.
We're trying to get you guys that fresh news. So
hot off the presses, you know.
keep that December 3rd open. December 3rd is when I'm going to keep saying December 3rd until it's subliminal. Black Widow movie trailer will be dropping December 3rd. And if I'm wrong, you did not hear it from me.
Right. I never said that. What are you talking
It
about?
wasn't even us.
Huh? Other news on like video game news. A new Assassin's Creed game. Some details dropped. Vikings in the name of the game. I fucks with the pagan stuff, hardcore, especially Vikings. Like that'd be crazy. I would definitely
Not me. I'm a hardcore Christian. I don't. Actually, I'm really upset that he just said that on this podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No,
But yeah, I definitely look forward to a game set in the Viking era
hey
with
man,
Assassin's
Vikings
Creed.
are hot right now.
Vikings.
God of War.
I've been seeing trailers for the show Vikings. It's been like,
show
it's like fourth or
Vikings?
fifth season at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I need to watch
Vinland
that.
Saga manga anime based off of Vikings. It's pretty raw. If you like Berserk, check out Vinland Saga. It's raw, but it's like not terrible. Berserk is kind of it gets real
Mediocre.
weird. But Vinland Saga is like just Vikings. It's a revenge story, but it's set in Vikings time.
I got you. That sounds hype.
So yeah, we got Vikings, Assassin's Creed Vikings. Cool. We're moving on from Egypt, because there was a list of places they wanted to hit. Well, no, that's God of War. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but Assassin's Creed's always kind of been like that. We've hit a lot of places. We've hit
And
Egypt.
I'm interested in seeing like what they do. I mean, it's probably just running around in Britannia. Britannia for the uninitiated is like
Give 'em that
the
history
UK
lesson. Yeah.
and its islands, all that. Those islands out
Yeah,
there,
before
Scotland,
Alfred the
Ireland.
Great united them against the Vikings or the Saxons, the Anglos.
Somebody.
There's some people over there.
Or if they're not like the Vikings weren't over there. Like me, actually, my knowledge of this like partially comes
He's
from
part
Crusader Kings
Viking.
too. So I'm gonna back that up. So they probably weren't actually in Britannia. Really, I mean, probably went over there and fought some people. You know,
They were
but really they're
constantly
from
raiding.
like from Norway and Sweden.
Yeah.
You know, where Vikings actually live.
Just
You know,
raping and pillaging, bro.
so actually like run around over there.
What a
So I'm
culture
interested
to
to see what it
admire.
would be about. I mean, when I'm thinking about as far as Assassin's Creed goes, you have the Templars, which are usually knights and stuff like that. So if you want to interact with some knights, Britannia is a solid spot for that. That's my thought process on the whole thing. I'm not sure what knights were looking like in mainland Europe, like at least that far to the north and east.
The hell kind of Viking sneaks up on people? A coward.
I don't understand. I'm just saying dealing with it. Or okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm talking about the gameplay mechanics. in
Maybe you're a
general.
Templar. Like what's the name?
Are you fighting Vikings?
I don't know.
That'd be
Who knows?
weird
I don't know.
to be like, the game is called Vikings, but you
I mean,
fight
it's generally when
Vikings.
you're outnumbered. Usually Vikings have their gang. We're out here with boys, and we out here ready to fight.
They
I mean,
are
if you're by
gang.
yourself, still kill them. You still send them to not Valhalla.
What's your favorite part about Viking culture? Is it the raping and pillaging?
No.
Okay, I just feel like that's.
Axes.
He said no. So serious. No.
Said no. Axes and just how their gods got down. It was cool.
Yeah, their gods got down
I mean,
with
hey,
horses.
Odin said he would
Norses
get
or
rid of
horses, right?
he-
That's the rhyme.
no,
I'm
not,
pretty
not
sure.
not no.
I
not even a
heard
little
that
bit. Not even a
in
little
a
bit.
lullaby.
Yeah, Odin said he would get rid of the frost giants. And do you see any frost giants?
I don't
They-
see no Odin either.
Hey, you don't need to see him. He did his job. and he
No,
dipped.
bro. They said there's a giant serpent on the world, and they also said there's a big old wolf who's supposed to eat something. I ain't never
Something.
seen none of that. What are you
Have you been in
talking
the woods
about?
looking for wolves? I've seen the huge wolves.
Nah, dude.
Huge wolves.
What?
Dire wolves
No, you haven't.
on YouTube.
Oh well. Sure. Okay.
And in Game of Thrones. Wow, what?
Game of
Huh?
Thrones. That's historically accurate.
Hey. They have big wolves though. You can't argue that.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah, that's what-
I'll respect your love of the Viking culture, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, yeah. It's cool.
Um,
Anyway,
So, what else do we got here? So, Assassin's Creed. There was other video game news though. There was the Star Wars 1313 concept art. So, Star Wars 1313 or 1313.
I was
I like
what?
saying
If you said
1313. I think it's
1313
better.
one more time, I was
think
gonna have a problem.
He was getting really upset. Star Wars 1313 is my favorite Star Wars thing that never happened. It was supposed to be a video game that was following our beloved Boba Fett and his love of bounty hunting.
He's trying to give me.
I'm trying to troll him. Go. You know what? Actually, this is so Star
I
Wars
don't-
is more your realm. I'm
that
gonna let you
game-
take this.
That game, I'm not sure. Actually, I think the game, they did say like the game was supposed to be following Boba Fett, but I didn't think that was the case at the time. When I was initially seeing the stuff for it.
That concept art, bro. It looks fire.
That's it. I mean, it looked fire for a game that was supposed to come out. Shoot, oh my! This was like prior. This is a game that was in development prior to Disney's acquisition of Star Wars. So this was
Years.
a young time ago. It definitely looked interesting, but a lot of games in concept look interesting. Like
That's
the travesty of canceled games, Scalebound. I can't believe that Microsoft would kill this game.
I thought Scalebound happened.
No, it didn't happen.
There was a different Dragon game.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
thinking the one on PlayStation.
Exactly, a different dragon. Right? No one knows. So it was like, yeah, it's everything looks amazing in concept, and that's just the world we live in.
But it had Boba Fett shooting his fire flamethrower at some other random Star Wars mangoes, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I'm not big on-
Mandalorians?
No, they weren't Mandalorians.
I was like, what mango?
No, they were like these aliens, and he was like in a jungle.
I don't know. He saw some concept art. The concept art looked cool.
Star Wars
I mean, it's kind of the point of
1313
concept
confirmed.
art to look cool.
Confirmed.
This
Star
guy.
Wars 1313.
Yeah.
Can't wait, baby.
coming soon to a
To a
Timeline
bargain
near you.
bin near you.
timeline near you because it ain't coming out in this timeline. Speaking of things that didn't come out in this timeline, I wanted to see that Superman Lives, I think.
Superman Lives. What are you talking about?
Or Superman Journey? I think it's Superman Lives. It's supposed to be the Nicolas Cage Superman movie that they were concepting.
I know what you're
Directed by
talking
Tim
about.
Burton,
They
I'm
have all
pretty
those
sure.
pictures that always pop up on the internet.
Yeah,
every few
pictures,
months
videos, all sorts of
of
stuff.
him doing the
Like-
costume test.
Yeah, stuff for that. I think it's supposed to be directed by like Tim Burton. It just never happened. It just never got to happen. That would have. That is the lost piece of content that I wish I had. I wish our timeline had that. I just want to see what that movie looked like. I mean, Superman Returns was garbage, but I mean, it wasn't even like good garbage. It was just. I mean, I could watch Nicolas Cage as Superman, directed by Tim Burton.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
that would just be a
all of that
wild
is like
ride.
a pot of crazy.
Right.
Like no matter what, it would have been entertaining.
It would have been,
wouldn't have been
entertaining,
boring.
if nothing else. It didn't
Yeah.
need to be good. It would have been entertaining, and that's something I could
I would
deny.
have. Yeah, I'm on board with that. I would have.
Yeah.
I kind of like go back and forth because I'm like, Nicolas Cage. But you know what?
And this is
Most
a
of
while
Nicolas-
ago. This was like '90s Nicolas Cage too. This
Oh,
is
that's great. That's
this
like
is-
Con Air Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's
They would have given him a Kansas accent.
put down the bunny, or whatever he says.
He does say something like that.
Put the bunny down.
And imagine that as Superman. Truth, justice, and the American way.
This would have been Nicolas Cage before he was still in the Declaration of Independence. This is
This is younger Nicolas Cage.
younger Nicolas Cage.
Younger, less wise, more brash.
Yeah, good. That was good times.
So that was it for news. That's all we had
That
this
wraps it up.
week.
Yeah.
We're gonna move into some other topics real quick. Just some quick notes that I kind of have written down here. But the first thing is Baby Yoda. So go watch The Mandalorian because we're gonna start spoiling Mandalorian here shortly, anyways. But Mandalorian, you know what? I applaud y'all. Y'all knew what you were doing. Holiday season is coming. We got Black Friday about to drop. We got Christmas about to drop. That Baby Yoda is gonna sell so many freaking toys.
My friend has been like a thing since Disney bought Star Wars is like, oh, they haven't recouped their investment on buying Star Wars yet. This Baby Yoda is gonna cover it. It's done. It's over now. It's over. They almost like when they MCU had the the Baby Groot, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
Baby Groot is dead.
I mean, Baby Yoda is adorable. I can't deny it.
It's
the memes. If you haven't seen, come on, go check these memes out. I know you've seen the memes with him, Baby Yoda, talking about my dad's yelling at me, and I'm like learning to fix the car or whatever. It's great.
The memes. He's really trying to describe a meme on the podcast, but
you know,
but
it's like this.
Some of the memes are hype, and the character's just adorable. Is just it's a thing. It doesn't talk. It just exists, and bam.
It's so earnest and sincere when he's trying to do the Force stuff.
Oh man, it's just so little doing little people stuff. It's great.
Things. But yeah, I'm gonna probably grab that Funko when it drops. I'm not gonna lie.
I wonder if Baby Yoda was like Jon Favreau idea, or if they were just like, okay, we have something for this. He built like the universe, and then they're like, okay, hey, this was first task.
The toy
Baby
selling.
Yoda. Like, yeah, how did that work? Is Baby Yoda a Jon Favreau original?
I think he is, but I think they saw an opportunity to be like, we're about to sell 1 million freaking toys in 2 days.
Right.
Make it cuter. Because I think he wanted centered it around a Yoda type character.
Nice.
And they were like, let's make it a baby. So yeah, Baby Yoda. Can't wait. Can't wait for those toy sales to drop.
Right.
The other thing I had in here was there was an interview done recently with Lou Ferrigno. For those of you who don't know, Lou Ferrigno was the original TV Hulk.
Oh.
He was like a bodybuilder, and they asked him to become like the Hulk. So they had a guy playing as Bruce Banner, and then when the Hulk would get, or Bruce Banner would get in a situation where the Hulk needed to come out, Lou Ferrigno would come out with like green paint on his body and everything, and would just Hulk out. Yeah. So it's pretty good for its time. It's pretty much at this point verified classic, but because he played Hulk on TV, he's had opinions, and people ask him about the Hulk on the Marvel movies. And he was recently stated as saying that Endgame ruined the Hulk because it was too pretty. And I can kind of see what he's saying. They did, like, really Mark Ruffalo the hell out of the Hulk. He's got
stubble,
5 o'clock shadow, and he's very Mark Ruffalo.
I mean, I think they did that to represent what had happened to him at that point.
The story beats make sense. I think I like the fact that we get this smart guy Hulk that we
he's wearing shirts now.
Yeah, and it's funny, and I think it's a good evolution of his character.
Right.
And I think Lou Ferrigno is just mad jealous. No, I think that he does have a good point. There was another thing where he said there should be more of like a lesson or like some kind of message that these movies are pushing through, because he was like, it's just a lot of spectacle. It's a lot of explosions and space stuff. And I'm like, when I heard that, that's when I kind of checked out, and I was like, okay, now he sounds like an old man.
All right, Scorsese.
It's like he wants, like, it's not a weekly TV show. You're not going to get like your morality lesson at the end, right? It's a movie about a giant purple man snapping out half of existence with a glove, like a toy glove.
Realistic,
Come on, it's got time
travel.
I mean,
if you follow over the course of, I mean, even the movie has lessons in it, like realistically about like
sacrifice,
getting over loss and stuff like that. Like we gotta keep moving on. You know what I'm saying? Just because people are gone doesn't mean we just give up. We gotta
doing the right thing,
right?
Even if it costs you something,
right?
So there are lessons.
It's lessons in there, but it's not like
he wanted Hulk-centric.
Buttoned at the end, you know.
Right.
I mean, this isn't Spider-Man: Homecoming, where at the end it's like, you know, patience is good, and he just trolls you. I mean, that's Marvel movies doing lessons at the end.
Right.
Oh, patience is a great thing to have. You know, you feel like you wasted your time. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
just
That's
trolling.
them. That's lessons from Marvel. So they spread it throughout the series. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion.
He is. He played
Even
the
though
whole
it's
on TV
wrong.
for a long time, so I do respect his opinion, although I don't respect the content of what he said.
Right, he's saying he can have his opinion even though it's wrong. It's fine. It's fine.
Right. And that's pretty much it for news and some like side notes that we had. Now we do have like a main topic, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I mean it's the we're rolling headlong into the holiday season.
Oh, we are.
Yes.
What holiday is that?
Well, the first holiday up on the list.
Is it a pagan holiday? Because I don't.
No,
Okay,
it's
you
a
gotta think
real
about it.
real born bred American holiday
Oh,
in America.
what holiday is that?
Thanksgiving.
Never heard of it.
I no.
What is Thanksgiving exactly?
I'm not even gonna get into that.
We don't want to talk about what Thanksgiving
I'm not
is.
talking about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a time where I go to somebody's house
Uh-huh.
and eat all the delicious food that they make
That sounds like a wonderful holiday.
and dip out.
We
Like I'm
practice
only there for
this
like
once a
2
year.
hours.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes people family get together. You know what I'm saying? They chill.
Okay.
People say what they're thankful for. You know what I'm saying?
I like this holiday. It sounds
And
nice.
I'm always thankful for that food.
Now, what's the real holiday though?
I mean,
all of these come
I
from
don't
some
know.
historical reference. Right?
Realistically, I don't know. There are countless. The aliens came down and they were like, "Hey, we got these burgers, man. Y'all trying to eat these cheeseburgers?" And I'm like, "Nah, I want turkey." I'm like, "What's a turkey?" I'm like, "It's this bird. It gobbles and stuff." I'm like, "Gobbles like eats?" Like, no, gobble, gobble. Like it makes the noise like that. And you're like,
Huh?
This is, dude, you're strange. People had buckles on their shoes and their hats for some reason.
They had buckles on their hats and shoes. What about their pants?
I don't know. I don't think they had belts or nothing. So
No, they had pant belts. Come on.
I don't. They might not have had belts.
They had buckles on their pants.
They had buckles on their hats, dude.
What's a hat
they had
buckle
the
for?
they had the
What is a
not even
hat
snapback,
buckle?
the strapbacks.
It's
They had
a strap. It's a strap back. It's a strap forward. What are you talking about, homie? It's on the front.
dude.
Strap backs.
I just okay. Now if anyone listens to podcasts that does art at all, I need a pilgrim with a strap back on. Like a snapback with the strap on it with the buckle.
With a big old
I would
buckle.
pay like at least solid $10-15 for that if
That
it's
is
solid.
a lot of money.
I
what
come
he's
off
asking
at
for.
least
I would pay
$15 for
you.
that. I
I
don't
would
even
pay
need
you
the
a
whole
nice
guy's body.
compliment and might
I
say
just need that.
thank you.
I just need the head with that. That'd be that's worth to me.
From what I heard, Thanksgiving is when. No, I'm also not going to get into it. Thanksgiving is a very testy
Right.
time, but but the heart of it is that we came together as a people and we
Somebody
decided
did.
that we were thankful. Although
Yes.
some of those people may have been forced to come to the table.
I mean, and the other part is I wasn't there. I can't speak
Yeah, I
on events
wasn't
when I
there,
wasn't
so I
there.
can't
You know what I'm saying? It's me. It's
wasn't
hard trying to
there.
be like history and stuff like that. We live in a flexing dimension. You know what I'm saying? This could be the Mandela effect. What I remember of Thanksgiving is like, what the hell is that? But no, that obviously didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to spew just historical garbage at you. I'm just like, I don't know.
I think the biggest like lie about Thanksgiving is that turkey is better than ham. Because
Oh
when
yeah,
you're growing up as a kid,
that is a bold face.
when you're growing up as a kid, it's like turkey. Like everybody's like turkey, right? And like
Right.
Thanksgiving is like you cook a turkey. Everybody knows ham is way more live
ham,
than turkey.
the honey ham with the pineapples.
Come
boy,
on, man.
there's nothing.
Y'all
There's
playing. If y'all still think
There's
turkey
nothing.
is better, you guys probably sit at the kids' table at family
Right.
reunion.
You sitting at the kids' table
Y'all-
with your turkey
The
and your
plastic
dressing.
yellow kids' table,
Right.
with the benches built in. Like you still sitting at that table, with your
Dang.
paper plate and your plastic cup with a little sippy top on top.
Dang, that's cold blooded.
Yeah, that's
Out here eating.
you only eat mac and cheese and
Right.
turkey. That's all you get. That's all you want every
That's all
year.
they put on your plate because they know that's all you're gonna eat. Dang, that's a tax.
But yeah,
you gotta-
ham. Come on, ham is a real MVP. Everybody knows
I
that.
need ham. I need the dressing. I need 2 separate piles of dressing.
need beans,
one dressing
greens,
with the gravy,
tomatoes,
and one dressing
potatoes.
with
Is it
the cranberry
tomatoes?
sauce.
It is cranberry sauce.
I mean, I'm saying with both. I mean, one pile with and one without. You know what I'm saying? You gotta with the gravy and cranberry sauce. You can't mix that.
What kind of gravy we talking? Brown.
Turkey gravy, baby.
Okay,
Brown turkey gravy.
got you.
Yeah.
Sometimes white gravy. That's what I hear.
What happened?
White gravy.
Oh, At Thanksgiving, no, I don't see that. Because white gravy's used like sausage and stuff like that. That's just
Oh, you're right. It's like biscuits,
involved.
right?
Yeah, that's breakfast food. He's getting his gravies mixed up.
I'm not a gravy guy. I
See,
don't.
man,
Because ham, I don't need no gravy.
I'm a captain of the gravy boat. You know what I'm saying? So I know these
I
differences.
see. Okay. Captain, my captain.
Oh, captain, my captain.
Gravy ties
Anyway,
me, captain.
yeah. Thanksgiving's coming up next Thursday, so we won't have a podcast then. But no reason we can't talk about at least a couple things, if not a single thing that we're thankful for going into this holiday season.
Heck yeah.
Just to get the spirit started. You know what I'm saying? The week, it's hype week. It's
Yeah,
hype week now.
yeah,
we're
yeah.
on the way to that food.
So get that
right
positivity going.
Right.
Right into
That's
the
what we're about,
holiday.
man.
Roll into there.
I said, and thing I'm thankful for, first thing, is just being able to share my voice message with people around, and say having listeners to the podcast, having feedback, constructive, solid feedback,
That's nice.
and the things the podcast allowed me to do, talk at length with a friend of mine about just dumb stuff we like,
That is sincere.
Yeah.
It's genuine.
So what is the thing you're thankful for?
Stole mine. Like they
you
did
be
during
thankful for the same
Thanksgiving
thing.
when they stole all the food from the Indians, the Native Americans. I'm sorry, I said it. I brought it back. No, I'm also thankful for being able to do this podcast. And you know what? It was very genuine of him to say that. And I was gonna roast him, but you know what? No, man, he don't deserve that. It's a genuine answer, and it's very sincere. And I will ride that answer as well. That is a great answer. We do like being able to do this podcast. We're thankful that we have opportunity to do this and that the internet provides us this at this point.
And we're not living in China where they can't do
in
this.
time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're
America, you know what I'm saying?
We're able to put this out there to the world and get ignored by everybody. But you know what? It gets put
Right.
out there.
But I can do it. That's the secret. No one's gonna hunt me down for this podcast because I'm like
This
America
became
and all that
real
stuff.
weird.
And yeah, I mean that would be odd. Like that. This was the final. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. That got me hunted down by the government. That would be
This
that
is
would be
the-
weird.
this is
I'd
the
like,
thing.
so-
It's not your
oh my God,
internet
oh,
search history, it's this thing.
No, we're here with the you guys from the podcast, right? And I'm like, oh God, no. Oh, well, yes, it's me. You want an autograph? And they're like, no, you're under arrest. I'm like, oh shit.
What else are we thankful for besides the podcast?
Besides the obvious thing, the podcast. I guess not. That really my family's in good health right now.
That's good. You're really going hard on the genuine.
I mean,
He really thankful
hey,
out here.
I'm bringing it. This is sincere. Once Thanksgiving's over and recording the after Thanksgiving podcast, after I eat the food, you know what I'm saying? I'm being thankful for real now, so the food gets in my stomach,
That's actually really nice of you to be thankful before you have the food.
you're right.
That's actually really nice of you.
See, once I get the food, then I can act as wild as I want. So then I'll be like, what were you actually thankful for? And then I'll be like, man, the real stuff, but we're not going to say that now because I don't have the
We
food
can't say it
yet.
now, mainly because we don't have
trying to trick
anything
me.
we can think about on the spot.
Trying
No,
to
but
Funny, I mean, other things to be thankful for, realistic. I mean, I don't know. When I think of being thankful, it's like it can't even come up with something like funny as a joke. It's like I don't
you
even.
can't be, like,
it's
facetious.
it's when I'm thinking about it, it's like I go to the default.
no,
of like,
dude. So
serious.
I got. Like,
Okay,
I'm
what do
thankful.
you-
And this is genuine. I'm thankful for opposable thumbs. Straight up, bro. So this is why.
Okay.
I always like when I play with my dog, right? And that's not a euphemism. I have a dog.
Yeah.
Sickos. When I play with my dog,
Yeah,
we
right,
wrestle
yeah,
and
it's a dog.
whatnot, right? And my dog doesn't have thumbs. And you know what? If she had thumbs, it would be a close fight most times because
Right.
technically she's older than me.
That would be a change in the relationship.
That's what I'm saying,
Drastically.
right? That's what I'm saying. We'd be more on equal footing. My brain is still a lot larger,
Mm-hmm.
and I can have self-conscious thoughts of being like, oh man, I can't believe I said that to the waitress today. What an idiot move.
Right.
And that'll keep me up at night. And she doesn't have that problem.
Right.
But at the same time, opposable thumbs, right? Opposable thumbs keeps me at alpha because I can
Right.
hold her down. I can do all kinds of stuff with opposable thumbs. She can't grab no weapons with no paws. She can't do none of that. She's gonna have to use her mouth. Now, if she figures out how to pick up like knives,
A sword,
with just
like a
her
Pokemon
mouth
Sword
and her
and Shield?
sword, like Sif or something from Dark Souls, it's a wrap, bro. Like I'm gonna have to move out.
Right.
but she ain't gonna be able to pay rent. So really, who's the loser here?
It should be a little
It's still
outside.
me. I got kicked out the house by my
You,
dog.
you would have
Yeah.
gotten kicked out of your house by a dog.
And
And
especially, I got opposable thumbs. I should win every time.
yeah, sure won every time.
But I'm thankful for opposable thumbs. It helps me grip things. It helps me. It keeps me separated from these animals out here.
Right.
Like these real animals.
I really wish I could follow you.
You don't got
path,
nothing for
but-
that. I'm also thankful for just my general health and well-being.
Yeah.
You know, that's good. I'm thankful. You know what? I'm thankful for being able to mull over the awkward things at night. You know what? Awkward
Alright.
things keep you human. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It keeps you humble. You know,
Yeah, could you imagine life if you were like so smooth that no situation was awkward?
you probably get a lot more sleep, to be honest, because then you wouldn't be thinking about it all the time, and you'd probably be way more confident about everything. Probably wouldn't second guess yourself about stuff.
I mean,
You'd
but-
probably just
but-
be
but
generally,
would you
probably
be-
just
would
be a
you be
better
human, though?
person. Yeah, you just be like a better
'cause-
human.
because
You-
no, but I'm thinking about like you have awkward moments, and that connects you to other individuals. But if you were like super smooth, you wouldn't know anybody else who was super smooth. You wouldn't be able to relate to us as a species.
I don't think awkwardness necessarily connects you. If anything, sometimes it disconnects you from people.
I mean, hey, you're. I mean, there's a reason that misconnections exist on Craigslist. I think it kind of removes some stuff from
I don't think
Craigslist.
it's
It might
for
not exist there anymore.
awkwardness, bro.
But there's a reason that exists. You had misconnections.
So
It
you're
was
telling
awkward
me
and stuff like
that instead of being like the smoothest operator,
Yeah.
you prefer that when you go to like the movies and the lady cutting the ticket is just like enjoy your movie and you go you too, you prefer that exchange over being like thank you, I will enjoy the movie, I hope you have a great day.
Yes.
No, you're a liar. You're a bold-faced liar, and I can't believe you lied before
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
Because that's the human experience.
No, that's not.
That is. We all do that.
No, it makes you feel like an alien when you do that. When you go, yeah, you too, you immediately go, oh my God, and you turn inside of your own head and go,
That-
why
that-
would I do that? What
That is
person
the
would
human
do
experience. That is a hallmark in the human experience. You being like, oh, enjoy your food. Oh, you too.
that? Oh,
Oh no, why did I
man.
say that?
You know what?
So
I
you
do
know what I'm
wish.
saying?
I do wish that there was a little soundtrack that played every time, like just a little sad song
Yeah.
every time it happens.
Just that, or it's clap, like laughter from the studio audience.
Yeah,
That would be
annoying.
it would get annoying from like how much people would just like attempt to just trigger it, like because it was happening. But if you had like a wish where like, or it's something like that only you could hear, that'd be weird. Like
Yeah,
where
that's called paranoid schizophrenia. That's why. That's why that's weird
where
and crazy.
you interacting in a situation, like you get the studio audience's reaction, but only you can hear it. So when you're not sure how that situation played out, and the audience knows, the audience always knows.
This like leads me to like you're constantly turning to a camera that doesn't exist,
Right.
and you're just like doing the Zach Morris thing, where you're like you think everything's paused for some dumb reason, but people are just like, "What is this asshole
What is
doing?"
this guy doing?
It's like, can you believe what's going on in this exchange? It's
Right.
like I am still here, like I'm trying to have a conversation.
I'm trying to have a
with you.
conversation. with
He
you.
wants to charge me $300 to change one tire, and the guy's like, "Yeah, that's what the price that we agreed
think-
on, sir."
I
Like,
think it'd be like on the Bernie Mac show, like where he has like a chair where he's talking to America, where like there's like a situation where like regardless of where you were, there was like a door that you could just like walk away from your conversation. You'd walk away from your conversation in real life.
You'd have the camera
but then they're like a
intervene.
door that you open and you sit down in the chair and you talk to America.
this.
People outside are like, what is he doing? Like you're in there, and this is a chair. The doors opens. There's a chair in there. You sit. You
that
just
would be
look
pretty
like
therapeutic.
that'd be.
Technically,
I
people
mean-
do it already. I think people are in their head so much. That's where that concept comes from, anyways. It's like you're in your head so much, but it's more fun just because of the fact that those people seem more in control of the situation.
Right.
So, but I think seeing a
It's
person
paranoid
do that in
schizophrenia,
real
yeah.
life would be one of my favorite things ever. If he's just like completely ignoring everybody, and they're like, "Hey man, are you all right? Like, who are you talking
Right.
to?" Like, I think that's much more interesting and funnier than
Well, I mean, they do that. They do that in, like anime and stuff like that, where the guys like, where you just the guys is zoning out.
it's
like,
meta. If the show
yeah.
is meta enough, they'll do it.
Yeah,
Um,
he's hyper zoning out.
but
That'd
usually
be
those
interesting in real life.
characters are like labeled as having like Asperger's or something.
I mean, that would be a next level of interesting. But I mean, in real life, you can't really get away with that. People only deal with you for so long.
People
Of
just
you
walk
just
away.
like
That dude always does this, man.
like looking away
Like
and
in the
like,
middle of a meeting, just
yeah,
being like,
what's
"Can
up
you
with this guy?"
believe these jokers? They
Right.
want to do this for this thing." And everybody's
These
like,
jokers.
"Hey, look, you did this last week. If you do this again, we're just gonna have to stop letting you come to these meetings."
Right.
Really
that would suck
awkward
to
and
get fired for that.
serious.
That would really suck to get fired for like your inner, like not being able to contain your inner monologue.
But what a hero! What a hero!
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Yeah. What a hero!
Hardcore meme it up. But oh snap! I don't even know how we got to this. I have no
We were
idea.
being thankful for things.
I mean, there was something else that happened between us to get us.
I was
deep.
thankful for being able to be in my own.
Oh, the
head.
awkward, yeah.
I was
awkward
thankful for
human
being in my own
experiences.
head.
Oh yeah, I'm thankful for being a human being.
Yeah. I think people shouldn't downplay it. I know sometimes it sucks because your brain wants to remember the dumbest thing you've done today right
Right.
before you go to sleep. But you
Your
know
brain will
what? I
drop
think
off
you
the
should
serotonin
cherish
like
some of
supposed
those
to.
moments to be able
Yeah.
to just mull over that because you're a higher thinking life form to be able to
Right.
think about stuff like that. Be able to regret exchanges you've had throughout the day
Right.
or wish things have gone better or being able to think about multiple like what if scenarios. I know that's kind of annoying because people always kind of tell you like, don't think about the what ifs. But we're like one of the only things on earth that can do that. That
Right.
can like think outside of this is what happened.
Right.
What if
is-
this
these are
happened?
active events.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's like we're only one of the only beings capable. This is becoming a very heady,
Yeah,
heady episode, and it's getting almost too much. I don't want to get like that high on this episode.
I was about to take us there. I promise.
Yeah, I
was.
know. He was itching for it because he's
I was about
he
to take us
worships
there.
like horses and Odin, so he was ready to go to Valhalla on that one. I'm gonna bring him back down. For him, but I'm thankful for a lot of things. I am thankful for actually serious things: family, health, job, money, those things, transportation. But my thumbs are pretty strong and important.
Thumbs are tight.
Yeah, I'm thankful for Primitive Skate. I wish they would sponsor me.
I can
I'm
tell,
thankful
man.
for them.
Every time I see
They always release the best fits out here, bro. Like
Every time I see you,
they had the
got something.
I got something, man. They got the Naruto fall or winter season pack going on right now, and it's fly.
Swag.
This ain't sponsored, but you go get you some. Actually, stay off the website because y'all jokers
Don't-
be out
don't buy
selling
it.
this
Don't buy
stuff
it,
out too
'cause
quick.
there's
I
only so
couldn't
much
even
of
buy
it.
a beanie. It was
said
out
right.
like I snapped. It was out like a light. It was quick.
Don't go buy it.
But
trying
I'm
to-
thankful for the ability to press a certain amount of, like a certain sequence of things on my piece of glass that I carry in my pocket.
Yeah.
And pizza shows up in my front door.
Bro, that delivery pizza. I'm definitely thankful for delivery pizza.
Why
I'm
are
trying to
you
get another
thankful
pizza
for
delivered
delivered
today.
pizza?
You know what I'm saying? That's real unrelated. But I'm gonna eat pizza today. I'm gonna have a pizza delivered today.
What kind of pizza we talking about here?
I don't even know. I really
How do you
don't
feel
care.
about pineapples on your pizza? Would you think?
Oh yeah, I eat pineapple on pizza. Yeah.
Okay, I'm right there too. I'm not.
All right,
I'm not
cool.
gonna hate on nobody for
Yeah,
no
man. People only hate it because the internet tells them to. They never had it.
because
They're followers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're scared.
I hate people. I hate people that are followers. I hate people that are followers, man. Don't be a follower unless you want to follow
Our
us on,
podcast. It'd be great
on,
if you actually.
Twitch
You know what?
and-
You don't mean that.
and
We
subscribe
love
to the YouTube
followers.
channel.
We love anybody who likes to be a follower. Follow us on all our social media,
Follow
please.
us on all
It'd be
social
great
media, which
if
you
you
only
could
have
follow
like
us.
Twitch and YouTube.
We
But
prefer followers. Don't start your own thing. Follow us.
follow us. But don't follow the people that want you to dislike the pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, man, that's whack.
That's
Such a
don't be
weak
whack.
move.
I mean that's really like we got extended this holiday section because we're not gonna be here next week. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta
Bring
give
some
a little
levity.
extra meat and potatoes right here.
Bring some
but
fun.
though you're not probably gonna be eating meat, maybe not potatoes. Depending on I'm gonna make mashed potatoes next week for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So this is the pre-meal. This is to get you hungry for that.
There you go. Start
Hungry
thinking
for
now.
more.
Start thinking now. Be more thankful. You don't gotta be Thanksgiving to be thankful.
Right. Thankful for everyday life, and be thankful for that food on Thanksgiving.
There you
That
go.
somebody got up and was like, they liked you enough to not only cook food, they may not cook just for you, but you get to eat the food. So you were in there when they were thinking about putting the time in. They're cooking for you.
There
They
you
love
go.
you. Eat it. Go eat the food. Eat
thankful.
all of it.
So
Get fat. It's wintertime. You need to bulk up.
So that wraps up our main topic. Now, we do have one segment that we're going to hit you guys with before we leave, and it's probably going to become our favorite segment.
Right.
Hopefully
'Cause this
become
is-
your guys' favorite segment. But I'm gonna let Brian take the lead on this one, and then we'll just let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it.
Okay, so we reached the DCOM section of the podcast, Disney Channel original movies.
Hey,
And first movie up is Under Wraps. Disney's Under Wraps, 1997 film. Really Halloween based. I mean, so we're only missing it by like a couple weeks,
Yeah,
really.
we're pretty close.
About 3 weeks at this point,
Yep.
realistically. It was really a movie about these 3 kids, tweens, if you will. I go to this in this guy's basement. This guy died. Some guy in their neighborhood had passed away through whatever circumstances. I don't think they really even get
it
into
was
it,
a
like how he
heart
died.
attack.
Huh?
They said he died. So I watched this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie
He
in a
hasn't
while,
seen it
but
in a while.
I enjoy
He has fond
content.
memories of it. I'll tell you what, this movie sucks, but but I watched it today. But
The guy passed away.
he
And
died.
his kids get in their basement. There's no to explore people's houses as we did in
As
the 90s.
kids
You know, say
do.
people died, we just ran up in their houses
as
like
kids
it was
do in
nothing.
movies, just
You know what
run
I'm
up
saying?
into
We did that.
dead
We did that in the 90s, and they discovered our real legit Egyptian sarcophagus in this guy's basement. How he got it, I don't know. What it's doing there, I don't know. But through just happenstance, these kids awaken this mummy, and this like a full grown, like legit 6.5 foot mummy.
he's a big boy.
Like hops out this sarcophagus, and I say 6.5 foot to let you know that he was a large male, and women was young hitting on him. And the thing they saw him and they were like,
Girls
he
were
was
hitting
tall.
on him.
He was
That
tall.
was he was.
I mean, at a point that was all you needed. He wasn't saying nothing. He was just a tall dude around, and
This dude
that was it.
making grunting noises,
Right.
and women were still like,
Real
you know
caveman.
what? I like this dude. Swipe right on this guy right here. I like it.
So then they're like, they discover him and it's like they're scared of him at first, and then they realize that he's friendly, just clumsy. He just doesn't understand what's going on. He's from thousands of years ago. He didn't know what stuff is really. So then they go to like visit this dude, a friend of theirs, older dude. Like that's another part of this movie that brings up questions. Kids having older friends, but this dude's like the young 25, 26.
No, but so like this is a trope though
Yeah.
of them having like a nerdy comic book store clerk dude type
Yeah.
guy.
I guess.
Who, like,
he
knew-
he has a job, so he needs to be older.
Yeah, but he was like he's your I don't know what to call him, but he's like
Not an
your,
exposition, but like explains the rules of the reality.
yeah,
Which are-
exactly. He's your like glossary encyclopedia dude, right?
Yeah.
He's a dude who knows everything about what you're trying to fight or what you're trying to find out
Yeah.
about. So
And
that's
so
that's the common trope.
then they go talk to this guy, and basically he's like, they explain to him the mummy thing, and
My
he's like,
neckbeard
oh,
dude.
oh yeah, this mummy's woken up, and if he isn't put back in the sarcophagus by, of course, like Halloween, because arbitrary, pick a random day, Halloween, that he's gonna die, and even though he's already dead.
No, he loses his soul forever.
I lose his soul forever.
So
I
I don't know what that means either.
I'm right. I mean, there's some magic going on already. I'm like,
He should know what it
which
means.
reality do you believe in?
Because it's some old pagan shit. But
Right. Right.
I don't know.
He died. He didn't go to Valhalla, obviously. So, I mean, he's back running around. So, chill. He's going to lose his soul forever. So, he's their new friend, and they don't want to lose his soul forever. So, they got to get him back into his sarcophagus. Easy, simple task, right? Easy.
Yeah.
Cut and dry. Let's knock this out. They go back to the guy's house to put it back in the sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is gone. They're like, the heck? And then they like find out that the guy who's supposedly dead, from like the original guy who's supposedly dead, like they went in his basement, that he faked his death to avoid paying taxes, just straight up. It's like, this is odd.
it's a very complex.
Right. This is it's a real like complex side adult plot for what's
very
going on. These kids are
complex.
trying to get this mummy back into their sarcophagus, and then the guy's trying to sell the sarcophagus with the mummy in it, because I think it's like to be understood that the mummy comes back to life. Like I think the guy knows that that's like a thing that he's aware of, and that he's trying to sell it for like a poop ton of money, like a whole lot of money. That's why, like, when he notices the mummy's gone, guy has goons for some reason. This guy is supposedly dead,
goons.
but he has goons.
He's like an Italian mafiosa type dude in this movie.
For some reason, this guy has goons. I don't know what that's
Very
about.
strange.
But yeah, he sends him to go find the mummy because, I mean, realistically, if I knew of a sarcophagus just in general, and the mummy was in there at one point, and I came back and the mummy wasn't in there at one point, I wouldn't think he was up walking around. I'd be like, what the heck? Where the heck's my mummy at? But he knew that the mummy gets up occasionally and was just dipped out. So they're antagonists in this quest to get the mummy back to his sarcophagus. They're having to find where the sarcophagus is, and do all this by like Halloween times.
Yep.
And then relatively small town stuff going on, big Halloween parties and all that other type of stuff. For the adults, and mummy dude just walking around. I mean, it's around Halloween, so
Macked on the whole time.
Getting strong macked on too.
Straight, just like hitting on him the whole time.
Like it's. I mean, I wish I was 6'7", 6'6".
That's all
you know
it takes in this movie. This
right.
dude grunts. Like I said before, he's just making that noise like the whole movie.
And
he's got an intellect of like a dog, like a pet dog.
And he's honeys falling from the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not honeys falling from the sky. There's people, moms, really. I mean,
a bunch of like wives and moms, which is another thing. Like wives, that means other people's spouses.
I mean, hey, man.
What kind of movie is this?
I don't.
For kids.
Hey, man, this is 90s Disney domovies. I mean, Disney doesn't have the best track record.
You know what? We should talk about that eventually someday too.
I mean, that'll be another just Disney past, present, future.
The kid's parents are like divorced.
Yeah.
And his mom, stays with his mom. He lives with his mom. And his mom has seen this new dude, and they're like this guy is like a nice guy, and he's trying to connect with the kid. His stepfather essentially trying to connect with his kid. His kid wants nothing to do with it. He completely shuts down around him, and like he kind of uses the mummy as a sounding board. Like, if people get married, they should love each other forever. So they're playing with themes like that too. Like that's
he's talking to the mummy about it. The mummy's like, I mean, the mummy has. I mean, you come to find out later in the movie, the mummy has a girlfriend. The mummy has like a girlfriend, like he was buried with. So he's like, oh yeah, you should love each other forever. So he's like, yeah, he agrees because he has his honey that he loved in life, and he's not dead, and they were buried together. You know what I'm saying? So he likes that. He's about that like action.
And it's not really like, it's never really addressed that like divorce is okay,
right?
Or like people need to move on. It's more like, because I think at one point they make it a point where one of the little kid's friends is like, if you ever need to talk to me about like your parents being divorced, I'm like, she's so like overt about it. Like it's just so like, I know your parents are divorced, dude, so if you need to talk to me about it because it's really a hard time for you to talk about it, you can talk to me about it. I'm like, well, we get it, dude. Like, stop. Like,
hey,
stop, please stop.
You know what I'm saying? It's not kids at home. It's never your fault if your parents get divorced. All right. It happens. You know
you're hitting them with the lesson now.
I mean, I'm this is in the middle, see, but it's not Lou Ferrigno's thing, not the end. It's the middle.
Yeah,
see?
Okay.
So I'm doing like MCU.
This thing is
like MCU taught
This thing is overt. This thing is like way overt, and I was just like,
hey, I'm just telling you, it's not your fault. I mean, I'm not saying you weren't a part of what happened, but I mean, it wasn't your fault.
Well, you starting to get real close to being teaching lessons here on this podcast.
Hey man, that's what I'm saying. So you may have been one of the causes, but you weren't the primary. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What happens? What happens with the mummy when after the block party?
I don't remember.
All right,
realistically, I remember.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Heavy things. Yeah, you got it.
So the mummy runs to this block party, gets lost for a little bit. There's a bunch of hijinks that ensue where like the kids lose this mummy. He's walking around. They're like, we gotta get this mummy back. We gotta get this money back. He runs into the bad guys. No, I'm sorry. The kids run into the bad guys. The bad guys are like, we know what you're doing. They pretty much kidnap these children and are threatening their lives. And like, in not so many words, it's Disney still, but it's like you're getting it. Because at one point, they're with their neckbeard friend, right? They're like 25-year-old like nerd friend who definitely shouldn't be hanging out with kids.
Right.
And he's like, so, because they're like, all right, so let's just end this. Like, that's what the goons are saying to the guy. and all the kids, and he's like, when you say like end this, you mean like drop me off back at home, right? And
Right.
he's like making a joke. He's like, well, I guess not. I should have known better. And I'm like, oh, so we're just telling them straight up the audience, like, these guys are about to get iced.
Oh yeah, they're about to
Right?
get.
They're about to get thrown in the river with like concrete chutes. So like, it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen. And then Mummy shows up and saves the day. This dude is strong as hell. He's
Right.
a monster. He manhandles all this dude. He like picks the main bad guy up, and the main bad guy is pretty big.
Yeah.
He picks him up, like holds him, like chokehold him, like up in the air, like Undertaker style, and just like throws him back. And this dude gets launched. It's amazing. And the Mummy saves the day. And they
You
get
heard
him
that?
back
He
in
said
her
it was
sarcophagus.
He said it was amazing, folks.
and
You heard it here.
And and it's a sight to behold. But they get him back, right?
Right.
And basically the movie ends, and the kid is like in a better place mentally, where he's able to at least open up about the divorce.
Right.
It's not so much to help the kid deal with, like, he doesn't have like this fixed relationship with his mom and his new dad, but he's at a place where he can like talk about it with his friends.
Right.
And I think that's more of what the
Ted.
lesson was trying to hit at. Is like, you can lean on your friends, which is cool.
I think Harold was kind of like a surrogate dad for him for a little bit in there too.
Yeah, that was kind of, to me, that was a little weird. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of like divorcee themes that run through these Disney movies.
There are so many single parents in Disney movies.
Yeah, it's
like
really strange, right?
whose parents are in a functioning relationship,
Yeah, no, I don't know.
alive and in a functioning
I was
relationship?
gonna say alive. No, I don't know.
Nah,
Dead.
this is very rare.
But
I think the girl from Brave's
Lion
parents
King.
are together.
for like the first part of the Lion King
I
movie,
mean,
and then technically,
dies before Simba's like.
technically speaking,
4.
though, Mufasa's got a whole like
I
harem.
mean, okay, we're not
Well,
gonna get
he
just
said,
the
hey,
lions.
he tried to stop me from saying it. It's facts. Don't pretend like it's not facts. It's based off of real
But
lions,
Mufasa
bro.
died. Like Simba doesn't get to grow up with his family. His dad dies when he's a cub.
Well, I know. I said that the first
That's
time.
what I'm saying. Like, I
first
mean,
part of the movie.
you can just show people's parents at the beginning. Oh, everyone had a mom and a dad. What? No.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Like even freaking How to Train Your Dragon. He had a mom and a dad at one point. I mean, technically, he thought his mom died, but she didn't die.
I was gonna say they're both alive.
Matt, huh?
They're both alive. His parents.
No, his dad died.
His dad and his mom are alive.
He died at some point. What I'm saying when.
How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon. When the movie for the first movie, his mom is dead. You believe she's dead because that's all they
And his
know.
dad is around.
His dad is that's what I'm saying, functioning family. And then before he reconnects with his mom, no, his mom and dad get to meet
That's
back
what
up.
I'm saying.
And then his dad dies.
No, he does not.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
Because the guy's the new leader.
No, he does not.
His dad does die.
No, you were lying.
His dad get burned by a dragon, get killed. I swear.
No.
Not even in like the newest movie. He gets killed before that. I promise. The movie that his mom comes back in, his dad dies in.
No,
I promise.
I don't believe him.
I promise.
All right. Well,
Anyone listen to the
This podcast is
Put
not about,
that in the comments.
not
I know
about
you've
talking
seen it.
about How to Train
His
Your
dad,
Dragon right now.
his dad dies in that movie
Okay. No, but
because his dad's the first Gerard Butler. I know
No,
these
man.
things. He dies.
no, get out of here with that.
I will look it up right now, but we'll discuss that in
It'll
the
be for the
in the
next
housekeeping
week's
for the next
podcast.
thing.
But for the-
I'm gonna get an apology from you live on podcast.
I ain't apologize for nothing. Get out
He's
of here.
wrong. He's wrong.
The
I mean,
decom. So the decom itself, the movie under wraps should have stayed under wraps because that movie is trash. By the way, the way it starts off is actually horrifying.
okay.
So it's
Oh, you see the guy get like put in the thing in the first place?
yeah, no.
seen the movie?
No. So the beginning of the movie is like this. It looks like a B horror movie where this family is sitting at this table and it's shot all weird and like these kids are arguing at the table. Like one kid's like, "Dad, there's a monster in my closet," and the father's like, "Son, there's no monster there." And his older sister is like giving him a hard time, like, "Yo, you're dumb. Like, there's no monster there. Stop being a little baby." And he calls her a cow, which I was like, that's kind of mean, like for a children's movie. And he's like, "Shut up, you stupid cow." And I'm like, wow, that's pretty mean. And then they go back and forth for a little bit. And
Called her
then
heifer.
they hear something outside. So the father goes over to the kitchen window. And that's when, like, he...
To watch monster movies.
Yes. So he
I remember
drops a knife into the sink. And the knife...
Garbage disposal.
The knife is sitting in the garbage disposal part of the
Jesus
sink.
Christ.
And it's going, and the knife is like, and like spinning around in this thing, and I'm like, what movie? So I'm looking like, did this dude just recommend me a crazy movie?
Some random horror movie.
But then I'm like, maybe I have the wrong link. because I'm watching this
Less than
less than
legally.
legal means. So I'm like, what is this? And then the mummy busts through, or the monster busts through this window right above the kitchen sink, grabs the father's head, and is pushing his head down onto this knife spinning from the garbage disposal, making it spin.
Where's this movie?
And
This is the real question.
I was like, what movie is this? And then like they cut to the movie theater of this kid and his friend watching this movie. And he was like, "Why do you like horror movies?"
Wait, isn't it the part where that girl's like really scared of the movie and she's like looking away and he's like laughing? That maybe something else.
No, that's
no.
a
I think that's
different movie,
I think that's
the
Thriller.
main character, and his like little best friend, glasses kid, is there.
I think that's Thriller. What I was thinking of, like legit.
He's thinking
just,
about the
just
movie.
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Everybody knows that famous movie Thriller.
I'm thinking. I'm just straight thinking of Thriller.
But yeah, overall, DCOM's Under Wraps, not a great movie. I don't even think it was great when it came out. The way it looks is it's a kids movie, so it is what it is. It's not necessarily scary. It is a little bit more serious than I thought it was going to be. They deal with some heavier things than I thought they were going to deal with, even for a Disney movie. And there are a lot of questionable things that happen in the movie. The main best friend's little mom, like the kid with the glasses, his mom is like legitimately insane.
Okay.
She like collects dolls and then she brings her dolls everywhere with her and she talks to them like they're people. And they just play it off like it's a joke, like the whole movie.
This lady
like,
has
your mom's
schizophrenia.
crazy, and he's like, my mom's not crazy. Like she brought dolls to the movies and watched movies with the dolls and was talking the whole time. He's like, sometimes you got to do that, and it's like, it's played like it's a joke, but then you're like, yo, this is really uncomfortable, man. Like this child is growing up in this home with this person who's got paranoid schizophrenia, which is the word of the day apparently.
Is it right?
Sponsored by, but.
Sponsored by.
But yeah, it gets really weird, like small like that, right? And it's just like that movie's kind of full of it, and you just go back and watch, and it's just like, man, this is for kids. Like most of it's for kids, but then some of it's like the kids breaking in this dude's home, and
I mean, that's
going to his house in the first place, like when he's still alive.
Yeah.
And then when he dies, there's one point when they're describing how he dies, and then they're like, did you hear, old Mr. So-and-so died? And they're like, well, what happened? They're like, well, they found him, the paramedics found him, like, on his floor, covered in syrup. And then, so he's like, you can die from syrup? And then the girl's like, no, stupid, he obviously died of a heart attack. It's like, to me, that wasn't even obvious, and I'm an adult. I'm like, Batman couldn't have figured that out. So you lying, straight up.
Batman.
And she's roasting this kid like, no, you dummy. What do you have, an IQ of less than 400? She's like, yes, that's most people. What are you
not, Galaxy Brain?
Yeah. So she's
wrong
like,
with
yeah, freaking small brains over here. Soft brains. Hey, soft brains. It's obvious he died of a heart attack. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, he was making himself pancakes and he died of a heart attack. He's like, none of that is obvious. He was covered in pancake syrup.
She's the world's greatest detective. Look,
that's all she
killed
heard.
him.
And
She
was
killed
like,
him.
He died of a heart attack. Yeah, she's death noting over here. Like she's just like, you die of a heart attack.
While making pancakes,
making
laying in
pancakes.
syrup. Like she wrote it down her death
Like
note.
it's supposed to be obvious. And how did this dude fake his death exactly?
I don't know. That's the real.
It happens off camera.
Like that's some wild stuff. Like what paramedics saw him in syrup and was like,
He paid. So he paid. The obvious answer is he paid the newspaper to say that he died, right? But then
paid somebody to post the article. I mean,
but then you pay them to write this dumb story of you dying with pancakes syrup on you, where nobody's gonna follow up on that. That's such a crazy story that if someone were to read that, be like, yo, I gotta check this out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you need to get
you're bringing attention to the
logistics. Like me, all my what is it?
my assets. And,
Serials, procedurals of shows. Like where's my time of death? Watching House and stuff. Where's my time of death? Where's in just general like the morgue? Your body at the morgue. The cops. Somebody's checking
where's
something
the
out.
violent sexual act that led to whatever happened?
Right. Where's the ding ding? You know what I'm saying? I'm missing a lot.
There's none of that happened.
None of that happened.
Random
So this guy obviously wasn't dead.
Random article written. A dude shows up and he's dead.
Some
Got
syrup.
on him.
What?
And
He
this
probably wrote that
girl is,
himself
like,
and just sent it
detective.
in his funny pages. You know what I'm saying?
So that was weird as well. But yeah, the movie is that's what it is. It's the mummy comes back to life and they got to put him back in a sarcophagus, which is what he was in already. So whatever.
And then and he had a mummy girlfriend. She's there at the end.
Yeah, that was a nice touch, I guess. If you cared. I
Yeah,
didn't.
I mean,
So
she had,
I
he,
was
had a,
checked
he, had a,
out.
mummy- he had a mummy honey. That's why he wasn't hollering at any of the mommies that were trying to get with him.
Mummy honey.
You know what I'm saying?
Mummy honey. But yeah,
So,
so
that's
that
just
was it for that movie.
Yeah.
I give it like as many thumbs down as I can.
as many thumbs
Both
down.
of my
as
opposable
my,
thumbs
both of my
down.
opposable
Both of
thumbs
them. You know what? If
down.
you don't have opposable thumbs,
Hey.
you can't tell whether a movie is good or not based off your hand gestures.
Right.
So I give them both
Dang.
thumbs down.
That is real.
It's a bad.
How's the
movie.
dog judge a movie? How
I
do you know?
Don't watch this movie. But you know what? Next week's movie is
We're skipping You Lucky Dog because I don't even remember that.
We're
And we're
skipping
doing
You
these
Lucky
movies
Dog.
from my memory. Or I'm discussing the movies from my memory because I don't want to ruin my nostalgia. And I would like to. I don't think You Lucky Dog was going to be a good movie. I don't think Chris would like that at all. Like realistically,
I
Under
barely
Wraps.
got
You got to
those.
start with Under Wraps though. Yeah, because I've seen it 1, and 2. It's the first one,
I barely got through it.
right? But next is Brink.
You know what? I'm excited for Brink.
Next
I'm
is
excited
Brink.
for Brink. So next week, Brink is on.
Well, not next week, but
the following
week after. So
Thanksgiving.
December,
That first week of December.
first week of
So-
December.
So Brink, I'm excited for. It is on Disney Plus. I looked
Hype.
it up. I have to look it up again to double check actually.
It's December 5th. Will
But-
be the podcast day, or actually, podcast come out December 6th.
If you want to follow along, if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. We're going to be talking about Brink on the next episode of this podcast. Again, that'll be in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
We're gonna see
And from
Thanksgiving.
now on, I'll only recommend movies that are actually on Disney Plus. I
Yeah,
will look
my
ahead of
phone
time and
wraps.
then make sure that they're there, so you don't have to look around the internet for them.
Right.
It's easier to follow along than trying to find some random movie somewhere random on the internet.
Yeah. So,
That'll be another thing for that as well.
so yeah, that was it for this week. I don't have anything else. I don't know if I believe that's it from both of us.
Yes, and I think things that we have this week. We didn't discuss this episode's Rick and Morty, or this week's Rick and Morty, or the Mandalorian episodes. But I don't want to get into discussing them all the time. With big things happen, big, large, interesting things happen, we'll mention it in more, but not with a weekly show, just spoiling the episodes and stuff like that.
Especially Rick and Morty, it's kind of
Yeah.
cause it's so week to week,
Yeah.
new episode. Mandalorian, we might just do like a mid-season follow-up,
Yeah,
and
something
I
like
think
that.
that's where we'll sit for that one. But yeah, that's it for now. We're kind of just we don't really have themes, We're not doing
Right.
too many movies yet, and eventually we will.
Yeah,
It's been
we'll
a
have
slower
to,
holiday season for us, so
yeah.
we'll hit you guys up with some more themed episodes. Though we're really excited for themed episodes. Those are kind of things that we have to plan a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
But
do
we're
a little
excited
bit more
for-
work,
for
a little more
kinda-
structure.
Yeah.
I hope you noticed that this episode is a little bit more structured than last episode was. I got wild tangents last episode. Some wild tangents this episode, but little bit more controlled.
Right. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for our next episode, and I hope you guys are too. And again, thank you for all of our wonderful 4 listeners, 5 listeners, whatever it is right now.
Oh yeah,
And we look forward to growing this podcast and helping you guys join us along for it. And again, audio issues aside, we are gonna continue to pop these out. So just be on the watch for them. And where can they find us tomorrow?
so where can they? Oh, on our YouTube channel.
We're on YouTube. What's our YouTube channel again?
YouTube channel is on YouTube. We're Dumb Stuff We Like. There we don't have a URL yet. You have to be certain. We have to get to a certain level of popularity before we can start designating URL. But if you just Google Dumb Stuff We Like on YouTube, that's where you can find this podcast. I mean, you're listening to it now, so you're probably already there. I don't know why I said that, but I mean, we also
If you wanna share it with
stream
people
we
who
also
haven't get to
stream
listen to
the
it.
podcast live on just right now, just my Twitch channel. It's Michael Transactions, spelled Michael spelled wrong with EA, as in Electronic Arts, the masters of microtransaction. So it's Mike EAL Transactions. I'll probably have a link for that as well on the YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this podcast on the YouTube channel, you should have the link. The link should be in the description for where we stream the podcast live Thursday evenings.
Yep. So that's where we are. I guess, like you said, you would know if we were already listening, but we do appreciate it. That is all I had.
And that's all I have.
All right. So we will see you guys in about 2 weeks again. Remember, stay thankful out there, guys. We got Thanksgiving coming up. So stay thankful and stay hungry.
Yeah, stay hungry, and we'll catch you next time for some more dumb stuff we like.
Yeah, sounds good. See you guys.
Peace.